live. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. All right. So, hello, welcome back. I'm Monique, and this is Alive. Okay. So, we are going to be talking about nursing school and things like that. Um, it is a haul, so no worries. We'll be sharing some of the things that you need. Also, make sure that my lighting is like the best it can be. You know? Okay. Oh, I see why now. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. All right. Is that somewhat better? Let's see. Okay. We're getting there. That's the joy of live, right? You cannot, edit. Okay. So anyway, yes, welcome in. And we're gonna be doing a haul. And I want to talk about things you actually need, okay? Because there are a lot of hauls on social media, but what would you actually use, right? And I'm going to talk specifically to pre-nursing students because um okay, all right. So how you doing? So you have some time to go before this is great for you then if you can stay in, for a little while that's good. So prereqs are what I have successfully finished. And that is how I was accepted into my nursing school program. So I did part time, okay, and I did 2 classes per semester. I did not overload myself because I did work while being in pre-nursing classes, right? So I was wanting to make sure, excuse me, that I made A's and B's, okay? It was really important to me. So that's why I did part time. Now, before going into pre nursing school, you ask yourself, what do you need, right? Okay, so first off, you need a pencil, a pen, and paper. You do know that. And there are books and things of this nature. Now, keep in mind that, this is the new era of, pre nursing. And a lot of times they have a lot of things online like your books and things like that. There were some books that I chose to purchase because I wanted the book in my hand, such as anatomy and physiology, microbiology, and nutrition, right? I wanted the physical book because I wanted the knowledge to carry on with me into my nursing program, right? So I do think that there are some books that are better, not just being a digital print, but actually being, something that you have in your hand. Especially if you want to like read and highlight and make note of and stuff like that. And also, if you want to set up your binder, like I have done. So I'm going to get to that. Going to get to that. So yeah. So anyway, so like we said, pen, paper, pencil. But you need a lot more, especially if you are a written learner. I've talked about this on TikTok. If you are a written learner, listen, I have, as we will discuss, I have all the things. Okay, pens, markers. Okay, yeah. Because that's how I learn, right? It's how I keep things in my head. In order to pass those exams that come up every Friday, right? So yes, I want to talk about a few things. So I have a few notes here. Let's see. Yes, my work schedule. So while being a pre-nursing student, I did work. Okay, I'll be very specific. I worked 2 days a week. Okay. Now I was able to do this at the end of the week. So I would do, and keep in mind too, that if you haven't been here, if you're not like a regular subscriber, become one. But I did my classes online, right? So all of my prereqs, my school allowed me to do online. And that made my schedule very flexible. However, please do not get in your head that online is easier than in person because it is not. It is not. I think I can say that if you take the classes online and you make A's and B's, you're doing really well. You are a great organization person, right? Because you're going to need those same skills while getting into the actual nursing program. You have to be in person, right? So developing that organization, developing, how you learn, how you teach yourself is going to be really, really good to make sure that you're set up for success when it comes to the actual real nursing program, which I'm going into in the fall. Okay, so working those 2 days a week it wasn't hard because we'll segue into this too. If you watch the channel, then you would know that I'm a certified pharmacy technician and that I'm a PRN pharmacy tech. Okay, so it really works really well. I mean, to be honest, if there was any job to have while being a nursing student, I would definitely suggest being a certified pharmacy technician, like for real, because you get to work around medications all day. All right, you're working around doctors of pharmacy because your pharmacists are doctors. They don't call themselves doctors, but they are PharmDs. Okay, so you're getting information. You can ask questions. To me, it's just like it's the best of all the worlds, right? Also, depending on where you work, whether it's inpatient or retail, which I happen to do both PRN, like I'm PRN. You really get a good look into where you want to work as a nurse. So, like if you work in inpatient, when you like deliver medication and stuff like that, you get to see the floors. You get to see the morale of the nurses on different floors in different I was gonna say categories. That's not the right word. And on different units. And so it's really cool because you really kind of get a first hand look into everything. It says I started with 2 summer classes, but they are midterm. Okay, 6 weeks, and it feels real. Oh yeah. My semesters were 15 weeks, so yeah, 6 weeks is a bit much, especially for the sciences. So you have to be super organized and on it. And to see in that case, that sounds like accelerated to me. And I feel like in that case, working even 2 days a week may be a bit much. It really just depends on your circumstances. But for me, like I said, I kept it to the end of the week. But yes, but like I was saying about the pharmacy technician thing, I feel like it's a great supplemental job while you're in school. Some people actually like to be like patient care technicians, maybe a certified nurse assistant or something like this. And while I do think that is helpful, it's not the only way to really be around the medical field and the healthcare field while being in school for nursing. It's not the only way, it's one way. And yes, I have been a PCT before and I loved it. So we'll get into that, in further videos on the channel. But anywho, so to keep your stress levels down, I do suggest that, working part-time is more to me more stable. It's a little bit better for you to keep your schedule together for school and not be forgetting assignments, not be forgetting homework assignments, and having time to study for exams. So about 16 hours a week, maybe even 8 hours a week, 8 to 16 hours a week, I feel like is very doable. Some people do it way more than that. I didn't, but some people do. Everybody's circumstances are different, but I do think it is possible to work while being in pre-nursing school. Okay. That's out the way. All right. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is making connections while at work. So one of the reasons too, I think that it's really important to, you know, have a job in the healthcare setting while being in nursing school. It doesn't have to be necessarily a PCT. Okay. But I think that it's really good because you are then able to connect, right, and make connections and network with individuals in different units and different things like that. You see familiar faces, they see your face, and people are just more likely to pay attention to you and to give you the time of day when you're already an employee of the company. So if you can get your foot in the door, PRN or part time, in the hospital that you actually want to work at, like having a target facility in mind, going ahead and working there in some capacity is going to be really good because it would then help you to make those networking connections. So when you're ready to be an intern or an extern, you already have, some stuff in place. Okay. So that's why I really suggest having a job in healthcare in some way, in some fashion, before becoming a nurse. It just makes really transitioning a lot easier. And there are a lot of people who actually wish they would have done it. I've talked to, many nurses, and sometimes they said, had they actually seen what it was, maybe they would not have, picked their unit or whatever. So I think having like those, firsthand accounts and really seeing what nursing is truly about is something that is going to be helpful. And I think, you have social media to think as far as being, encouraging and motivational, aspirational and stuff like that. That's great. But I do feel like sometimes it can be, it can not really show what nurses truly do in a 12-hour shift. To whereas if you were there in the hospital and you were working in some capacity in healthcare, then you would know what the real 12-hour shift looks like. Okay. Let's just say that being a nurse is like being an athlete. You definitely want to be in shape. Yeah, especially if you're going to be bedside. Okay. So that's that. Now, fun tip, you can ask about this at your school, and I'll cover this and we'll go ahead and start the whole haul. But if you like start fundamentals, right? If you start fundamentals at your school, they let me say this right. Depending where you live in your state, you can actually finish fundamentals like that first semester. That's usually what they introduce you to when you first start nursing school. Once you finish that, you can be like, I think a nurse, I want to say intern, um, instead of a PCT, depending on your state. Always ask questions. Okay. So I think that is something that you can look into, you can ask about if you happen to already work at a healthcare facility, okay, that has nursing staff in the facility. So just a little tip there, because you might be able to kind of really get your foot in the door as far as being an intern in the department that you actually want to work in when you graduate. That's really a good way to solidify the unit that you want. Okay. Okay. Now we'll get into the things that I actually use. So we're going to use my anatomy and physiology binder as a ah, as a guide. Okay. This baby right here is the entire book. This is Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2, all in one binder. I took them in 2 separate semesters. Everybody's school is different. Okay. But this is it. Now, this nice little cover right here. Hold on. Let me see. Just a second. Cover this. Well, I don't know. What am I doing? Okay. Okay. So this right here, this front section, hopefully you guys can still hear me. This front section, I actually made that. So anatomy and physiology, pre-nursing. I made this, and I do have these. I do sell these actually in my Patreon. So yes, and I have like a little thing in the back too. Let me turn it around. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. That's the back. So cute. And then I have to get like the spine. They do have those. I do not have those for this, but I am going to get those. I do want to have spines for all my binders. I have 4 of them. So this is like a 2-inch, I believe, and is it a D ring or just a regular? Let me see. It's a regular. Okay. And I'm going to kind of show you. Let me put my mic right here. Okay. So I'm going to show you what I can show you. So this is the first thing that I put in here, right? So I actually print this off, and this is like one of those like plastic cover thingamajigs. So that's like the beginning of all my binders, right? Because I'm going to be putting my course syllabus, tests, quizzes, labs, all that, how I keep up, how I stay organized. I actually print that stuff out, okay? So we're going to go through everything that you need. So we said that you definitely need paper, a pen, okay, a pencil, but you need stuff like this, like plain paper, to actually do your binder organization, okay? So once I print that out, I go ahead and I go into whatever that we have, all the assignments in, and I print that out, and that's going to be my syllabus for the semester, and I keep that at the front of the binder. Okay. And then we're going to get into anatomy and physiology. Okay. So I kind of want to get into these dividers, right? So these dividers are really nice because they allow you to be able to put your notes in here. So for each module that you're in, whether it's microbiology, anatomy, and physiology, whatever the case may be, you're going to have notes, girl. Notes, okay? And I'm looking at myself. I should be looking at y'all. So you're going to have notes on notes and many more notes. So I don't want to lose those. I don't want to like put that all together and bunch them up. So I like to put whatever section I'm in, I like to put the notes inside here. So I do suggest getting a set of 8 of these dividers, especially for your science classes. That being chemistry, microbiology, I'm trying to think, microbiology, anatomy and physiology, whatever the case may be. So I do suggest getting these. No worries, because everything that I'm showing you is in my description section in the video, so you can shop, okay, on Amazon. Also, at certain times of the year, you can get stuff cheaper on Amazon. So yeah. Okay, so that's that. Now, in between that is the actual chapters. Okay, so that's the actual chapters of the book. Okay, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing. So let's say one of my favorite anatomy and physiology modules was the heart. And let's see if I can, the cardiovascular system. So I can, they have them all kind of mixed in here. It's okay if I can't find that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah, so we'll do this one. So okay, I want to show you this too. So this right here, this section it was so big that it actually needed a part 2 and a part 3, right? So you see these little labels right here? These labels I made. So you can actually make your labels, and I will show you with your label maker. So yeah, I'm extra. So I love this thing. It was affordable too. And I would just print off anything that I needed to put on these if I needed something extra. Like I showed you the part 2 and part 3. So I love this because it's easy to label different sections, different modules and stuff like that. So I definitely do suggest this, especially if you're just trying to stay motivated and keep everything beautiful and together, and just inspirational as you're studying and stuff. So that's that. Okay, so that was part 1. Part 2, let me see. Okay, we're gonna get into this too. Hold on, trying to show you guys. Yes. Okay, so for instance, with the book, kind of funny. So we're so used to clicking stuff in, touching screens nowadays. How do you actually look up information in the book? Do you remember? Do you remember how to look up your appendix, your glossary, and your index? All right. So that's going to be in every book that you have, helping you to get around the book. And so I actually have those tabs too. So what you see right here printed out, I printed that with my label maker, right? So there you have it. And I'm going to try to get some notes out here to show you guys why you would actually need printer paper, over your regular college ruled or wide ruled. So I'm going to take some notes out. Hold on just a second. We're going to go with the endocrine system. All right, so these are some of my notes. Now look how thick that is. Okay, this is all the endocrine system. You see that? Yeah. So I would actually keep all this together, and I put the little numbers right here to tell me that page. So that way I can organize them if I need to. You can also see that these are very color coordinated, because within a section is a section, and in that section is another section. So to keep everything together, I would do my colors. So if I was on endocrine disorders, obviously diabetes and different things like that, here we are in yellow, right? And so everything I have in this section is going to be yellow. And then here, just talking about non-steroid, okay, this is my little mind map here in this blue. So each time we got to a different part in the lecture, I would actually change colors of what I'm taking notes on, right? And so here you have the pink, the endocrine system, and different things, how to remember things, right? So you want to keep all this, keep it neat, keep it organized. Don't throw it away because you didn't need it for nursing school, right? And that's why I'd say to get these sturdy, inserts that are dividers essentially and folders. So yeah, you can stick it right back in here, and that way nothing gets torn or anything like that. And they stick it right back in the book and the binder there, and you're right there. And I suggest when you get these, they will send you the little inserts that go actually inside the tab, like this right here, right? So you can actually print that off on your computer, which brings me to the next thing that you'll need is a printer. So, okay, a printer is very important, and a good one, because you're gonna be printing a lot of stuff. Now you can print for free, most likely at your facility, like your school. But that's not a guarantee. I know that I can up to a certain point. Sometimes they give you points, they give you money at the beginning of each semester to print. So I usually like to use that when I want to print things in color. If I want to print like my lecture slides in color, if they have something on there that I want in color, right? So keep in mind that at home, you will need to print things as well. And when you're organizing your binder and you're going to be, printing your little tabs to go inside each of the 8 dividers, you can use a label maker for some things. But then if you want to get, you're actually printing this, like I'll take it out again, this little thing right here that comes with it, you want to print that on your computer, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's like little stuff like that makes a big difference. It makes, learning a lot more fun, and you don't have stuff everywhere. You have your stuff very organized. So yes, if you're interested in, like I said, the binder covers, those are in my Patreon store, right? Which is also linked below. So that's that one. Now I was going to show you my markers right here. Okay, why do I have so many? So so I have 2 different types. I have the felt tip, and I also have these right here. Okay, they serve different purposes. So when I am taking notes, like let's say I'm taking notes in green, right? So most likely everything on that page will be written in green. Or what I might do is I might take my black pen and write all of my text in black. But then really important things I will write in my green pen. And then I can like draw my mind map with my Sharpie. And then I can actually use my felt tip for anything else that I want to have, like a little cloud I drew and stuff like that. So yes, you see that color coordination, right? This really helps me stay focused. Maybe you don't need this, I don't know, but I really love it. It makes note taking so much fun because you're gonna take a lot of notes. And yes, you need all these pens. Okay, you see all these pens? Yeah, you need them because you're gonna take notes like you've never taken notes before. Okay. And don't be afraid of the notes. I know when you see us talk about these notes and you see these extensive notes online, you too will have these extensive notes. It just naturally happens as you are like writing your notes and listening to lecture and stuff like that. You too will have 28 pages of notes. And you two will be writing things on your brain as you go. And so if you're going to be doing that, why not make it fun, like I said, and get your color coordination, okay? So I did try to link as much as I can below as far as highlighters, felt tip markers, Sharpies, and pens, like the best pens that I like to use, because your pen does matter, because for the first time in your life, you may actually run out of ink. Yeah, you may actually run out of ink while writing your notes. And when that started happening to me, I was like, wow, this is real. So yeah. Also, highlighters too come very much in handy. And these holders come in handy too. So I like to separate mine like that. And I think I did link some of those too. But okay, so your highlight is really good. Now you have to be careful because some of these will actually like bleed through your textbook page. So I don't suggest using like this big one for your textbook. I suggest using the little one for your textbooks. Yeah, they all have a purpose. So so you have your little one, right? Like this here, that doesn't bleed through quite as much. And then you have your big one that does bleed through, but this one can be used to highlight within your notes. So remember, we were color coordinating. So like if you have like the green color coordination, then you can highlight within that, right? You get the gist. You get the gist. Okay. So yes. All right. So within here, I meant to link this to, I will. Whiteout, your best friend as you're taking notes. You're going to need this. You're going to thank me because this right here is a lifesaver while taking notes, right? It's a lifesaver, period. But get you one of these, get you 2 of these, okay? So, yes, you're going to need that. All right, trying to think. Anything else? We talked about paper. So, college ruled, I would suggest. I'll be honest with you, you would not be writing a lot on college ruled, especially not in your sciences. Well, especially not anatomy and physiology. You'll be writing more on plain paper. Like I learned that it took me a while. It took me probably the first semester in my second semester of A&P. I was ready, and I was like, "This is what I got to do," you know. So you're gonna need the printer paper. So I'll just show you. So not only do you need the printer, the printer paper. The plain paper is what helps you take your notes and write out your mind maps. Okay, so that's why I say having this on hand is really good. I mean, this right here was a 500 sheet pack, and I still have some left. I was in, I think I took upwards of 10 classes. So yeah. Um, I'm trying to think anything else that I can show you guys. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So now we'll get into the other way to take notes, which is going to be your whiteboard. All right. So when you have your whiteboard, this is the bag with all of my Expo dry erasers, right? So this is really good too, y'all. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know what it is about writing on a whiteboard. It like get you one. It can be a small one, and mine is in here somewhere, but I don't know where mine is. But mine is probably like this. Well, probably like that. Yeah, I can hold it and write. Get you one of these, okay? And get your markers, girl, because let me tell you something. When you use your dry erase marker, and your dry erase board, that whiteboard, it sticks stuff in your brain. It's something about it. You can ask anybody. It works. So it took me 2 semesters in to get one. You can get one on your first semester. I'm telling you right now. Go ahead and get one. Take your notes. I used mine while studying for my TEAS exam, while I was taking some some quick courses on chemistry because chemistry is on the T's, and my school did not require chemistry. So I had to learn it really fast, right? Just like we learned some of it in school anyway, in elementary or high school, but you forget some of it. But I had to learn those concepts really fast, like within 2 weeks. And that whiteboard really, really did help me. So definitely invest in one of those. As far as holding your markers, pens, whatever, of course, I have like the big holders like this. But if you don't want to like carry 3 different bags with you to school or to the library, then you can just get you one of these. Okay. And this kind of just holds everything in here, pencils, markers, whatever. And that can just kind of like go in your backpack. Okay. I do suggest a backpack that has wheels on it. Mine did not, but remember again, I was online, so I didn't have to carry this thing with me everywhere I went. However, being on campus, I will be having a roller backpack because those books are heavy. These binders are heavy. My back says no. No. So yeah, get you that roller backpack. I did link one below, so you guys can look at that one or whichever one you want, but that's just like a start. Yes. And I'm trying to think anything else I want to share. Yes, I want to share some software too that I think will be really helpful as you guys are going through the pre-nursing program. Again, keeping in mind that what you need, your school will most likely give you. I didn't have to go out of my way as far as software is concerned, but there are a few things I would suggest. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to suggest, as far as supplemental things, I would suggest Quizlet. Quizlet is really nice for helping you to make your own quizzes out of your notes. So you can learn like that. They have a really cool game you can play to match things up. That really helped me in microbiology. Me and that game, we were friends because that's how I learned, gram positive, gram negative. Yeah. So Quizlet, yeah, Quizlet is worth paying for it. I think like annually because you can make your own quizzes, you can make your own practice tests, y'all. It is invaluable. I think that is something that people don't talk about enough. But as far as creating your own ways of studying out of your notes, Quizlet is really good for that. So I do suggest software, Quizlet, yes. The next software I'm going to suggest is going to be Grammarly. Now, Grammarly is really good. Again, I do think it is worth the price that you pay annually. Sometimes they do offer student discounts, but Grammarly is going to be great, especially if you are pre-nursing and you're taking, your English college course. You're writing a lot of essays. Even when you get into nursing program, you gotta write a lot of essays. So in writing your essays, Grammarly is really nice because it's going to help you to keep the grammar together, right? And to really help the flow of the essay. So I do love Grammarly for that matter. It is AI that truly does enhance you're all, if you not if you have great writing skills. If you already have great writing skills, it's going to just help you to really give you choices to look at. It's going to, like I said, fix your grammar. You missing any commas, periods, you spell something wrong connotation, stuff like that. Because as we're writing and typing, we make mistakes. So Grammarly catches my mistakes. I can say that. So, and that this is somebody who made an A in her English college class. So, and A's in all the essays. Okay. Okay. So, if not all of them, most of them. So definitely Grammarly, definitely Quizlet, worth the investment. Again, see if you can find a student discount if you can. Okay. And then as far as some things that YouTube, obviously, you're already here, so you know about YouTube. It's going to be really helpful. I find that in pre-nursing, I don't know, there are so many to get into, right? There are so many like different softwares I'm sure we are all aware of that people talk about all the time. I'm not going to say their names. I didn't use them, but I did not need them. So I needed what I mentioned, which was a way to make my own tests on Quizlet and then a way to catch my grammar mistakes on Grammarly. Those are the two things that I used. I did not use anything else in pre-nursing. Outside of Grammarly, Quizlet, and YouTube, I didn't need anything else in pre-nursing. So I didn't do any extra type of other stuff. Also, I'm somebody who likes to make my own mnemonics. And sometimes I do use some that people may use on YouTube, but I don't necessarily need a mnemonic maker, if that makes sense. Yet, say yet. Put it this way, I didn't need it in pre-nursing. I could pretty much make my own because I like to make my own. So yeah, I'll just say that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about too is like going forward, right? Some things that I look forward to purchasing as a nursing student. So I definitely want to buy the Nurse Sugar Planner. I want to also look into straight A nursing's dose calculations class because I think that she is a nurse. Obviously, she's been teaching nurses for a while, and so she probably has a really good way to do that. My school also offers us some dose calculation stuff as well. So I'm gonna look at that and compare, see how we do, because we have to make a certain grade on our dosing calculations quizzes in order to stay with, stay in the program. I also want to look at the Lecturio dose calculations. I want to look at theirs too. And then Nurse in the Making, the flashcards. Looking forward to maybe that. Also, Chart Like a Boss. Now, this is for you if you are actually, probably already a nurse. But I'm going to show you guys the book. This is Chart Like a Boss right here. I've already purchased this. I'm not charting anything. But when I do, right, then this right here is something to look into. So I already bought this. Also want to purchase the Quick Facts for NCLEX. That's another nurse who is an entrepreneur as well. So looking forward to that. And those are just a few things that I'm looking into as far as as far as being a nursing student is concerned. So again, I will be linking all of this in the video description below. So if you guys want to look at that stuff too, that you can. Now, last but not least, is going to be scrubs and shoes. So every nursing program is going to have their own color of scrubs. I already know mine, so I have to get scrubs. I have to get shoes that are all white. I will be doing the hookahs, I think it is, or hookahs. I don't know how to pronounce it. I already have some. I have some for work now. But I will be linking the ones that I found if you're interested in those too. So yes. And I'm trying to think anything else that I wanted to share on here. Oh, yes, glasses. Okay, y'all. So when you start nursing school, if you don't already wear glasses, you might end up wearing glasses because you do a lot of looking into the computer, a lot of writing, a lot of focusing. If you find yourself squinting a lot, I do suggest, for one, I suggest going to get everything checked out anyway before you start nursing school. They actually require that anyway, not for pre-nursing, but they do require for nursing. To be honest, I think it's good to do for pre-nursing too, okay? Because I feel like they're both just as stressful. So I feel like going to get your exam and not just your physical, get your eye exam, whatever else, dermatology, whatever else, you name it, you have it, go schedule it because you are going to be under some pressure, okay? So these are my glasses, my little glass case. I actually need to get some more time, but these work really well. These were Walmart, okay? Prescription was from my physician and then the eye doctor, and then I went to Walmart to get these and they were affordable. So, don't skip out on Walmart eye care. And it really helped me. It really helped me to not have like a twitching eye, or to not have like a lot of muscle strain on my eye while studying and writing and reading and concentrating. So I do love that I did have these for my pre-nursing, and I didn't need them. I've always had a reason to have a prescription, but did not always wear my prescription glasses. But I do wear them when I am like doing a lot of concentration, especially on a computer screen. So there you have it. And you can get them with blue light in them as well. So yes, I do suggest that. That's that. So I think that's it. I think that is all. That is the haul, right? So if you're just coming in, come back and watch the replay. We went over a lot of different things, okay? And like I said, I'm gonna link everything I can in the description section below the video. I recently opened up my little Amazon storefront. So I'm in the process of decorating that and linking to that. So it makes it easier for you all to shop, right? But yeah, so these are things that I truly use, right? These are things that I truly use, things that truly help me to make A's and B's. I'm pretty sure there's something that I may be forgetting. These are like the main things: binders, paper, pens, markers, whiteout, label maker, printer, computer, obviously. I had an HP. I also linked the HP below as well if you guys want to get the HP computer. You're going to need a laptop. Yeah. And preferably, I'll give you a tip. You want to get an i7 processor. I think it's like Intel Core, something like that, because you need a fast processor. So I've never had a MacBook per se. I do have everything else Apple, but never had a MacBook or Mac or Air or whatever. But I always had HP laptops, and they work pretty well, lasted for the duration of schooling. But I do suggest getting, like I said, an i7 processor. It's going to make things a lot easier for you guys. So if you see like i3, i5, no, get the i7, and also get a good storage. Like I said, not to worry. I'll link the one that is the most optimal within my, nursing school essentials link below. So yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's it. So I hope you guys subscribe. And I also hope you guys have a peaceful and productive rest of your day. And just remember that there are, other videos on the channel that talk about my entire pre-nursing journey. So you can go watch those videos and let me know what you think. And thanks for coming to the live. And I'll see you guys on the next one.